Hi, it's Crimson Chains here. I'm gonna actually try something new this time. I saw this online with another artist who was doing critiques of people's works by doing it over recording, showing them what they did step by step, so I thought I'd try that too. So let's just get right into it. I've got two pieces here. The first one here is from Alora. It's Lucy drinking the tears from all you wonderful fans of Sine. This is completely accurate, by the way. I agree, she totally does this. So I think the first thing I'm going to comment on is that, first of all, I really love how the hair looks, very curly. But I think that it would be a good idea to just relax the shoulder a little bit. Have it go like this. And this is something that's really hard in digital art, but when you start out, you just have to make sure you do long fluid lines so that things don't look too broken up. So just correct that. Also, looseness of the sleeve would probably cause it to bend down a little bit this way. Hands are really hard, and honest to God, I don't think I have them mastered at all, but I think a couple pointers I would do for this hand is to make sure you start out with basic shapes. With hands, I kind of like to use like trapezoid shape, things like that. You're doing really good with the finger over here. It definitely is going to stand out from the other ones. If you hold a cup in your hand, you'll see usually the index finger will kind of bend slightly the other way, and these will just follow along here, keeping that trapezoid shape. Whoop. You see we've reformed the hands a little bit. There we go. A little bit smoother over here. Drop that shoulder down to make it look all relaxed while she's enjoying her nice tears. I don't really know what to say. Very new to this. See how this goes. Just cleaning up the lines a bit here. And you'll see how the pose just looks a little bit more natural with that shoulder slumped down. I like Lucy's expression here. She's just very like, yes, tears, good, good, this is how things are meant to be. Which is absolutely correct. Absolutely what Lucy's thinking all the time, every day. Alright. And I think this is where it gets a little hard with these critiques. I don't want to just impose my style onto how I think things should look. I think the face looks pretty well proportioned. I think all I would do is maybe move the neck up just a little bit forward. I don't really have a good way to remember where the neck aligns. It's just probably something about how it like looks relative to the things like the ear and the chin. It's not too far away from either of those, I think. I don't know, a lot of what I do proportions wise is just like, does it look good? Alright. Adding lines. Again, just gonna smooth out some of these lines. Over here, it's just about, instead of doing lots of little strokes at the end piece, it's usually just better to have a smooth stroke, and then later you could add in wrinkles. But smoothing out the lines makes things look pretty good, though. Once again, I don't know, imposing my own style on this. There's lots of really cool styles I've seen that have a lot of a sketchier style, and I really like those. So a lot of it's just keep working with what you do and develop what you have, and you'll make something really interesting. Something for this here, which I believe is the zipper, since the body isn't flat, just going to make that curve around the chest, give it a little more shape. But otherwise, I think it looks really good, and I think it's a picture to be proud of, and I think that you captured Lucy's essence. So here's just change I've made again. I just smoothed out a lot of the lines, relax the shoulder by dropping it down, adjust the neck slightly, the hands. But I think I think it looks good. Thank you so much again for sending this in and letting me experiment on it. So I hope that this has been somewhat informative. Moving on to the next piece I got from Twig Lights, and I really like this one. It's super cute. I love the position of the body. The feet are just very, very good. Feet are the devil, so are hands. All appendages are. And I think that you've really nailed the depth of this particular area where the legs are crossed. I really like that. And you got a little cute book. Good light source. I think the thing I'm going to focus on the most in this picture is the background. Because I like where you're going with this, but I think that we need a little bit more contrast to make the foreground and the background part of it stand out. So these rocks here, I think you really have a good idea going with making them slightly darker, but I would go even further and just make them almost, oh my god, what's this color? Almost completely black. This is the wrong color. Why is this doing this? Whatever. Just making them incredibly dark. And if you want them to stand out, I'd probably actually take some of this lighting. It looks like it's probably just some kind of yellow light from the sun, and add some highlights to them. But otherwise, the main body, I think, since your background's already so dark, to just make this foreground picture just almost completely black. It's really good though. I like what you're doing. It's really good for framing. These rocks over here especially, I just love. Those are very good. I love those textures. And I think these ones here are good, but I think they're a little bit too uniformly shaped, too much just round boulders compared to like what's over here where you have kind of flatter, more erratic shapes. I think that continuing with that is probably a good plan. Less roundness, maybe more rocks at angles or something. I like this lighting you got going on though, but just to make it look a little more natural. I think that when I do rocks, I still don't know how I do rocks yet, in terms of things, but I think a lot of it's just like jagged shapes, jagged forms of just, I like to form the rock shape by adding the lighting. Like I don't focus as much on the shadows and where they go. I just kind of put shadows wherever, and then wherever I see shapes based on where this where I randomly assign lighting, I just go with like this shape here, that looks like a flat rock right there, so I'll just make that even more prominent, just add some edges over here, and continue that where it's just if I see a shape I like, I'll try to emphasize it. But I think that when you just kind of start adding random bits of light, you're able to get a really irregular feel, which I think is important with rocks and with nature and things like that. And so just like that, I think it looks a little bit more natural by just randomly adding light to places and then finding shapes that you like. I really like this beam of light, but since it's just very strong against these rocks over here, which is good, but I think that it's almost too strong because it doesn't illuminate her as strongly. This section of her back isn't as strongly contrasted compared to how like these rocks and these rocks are contrasted, and so I think all I do for that is take some of the color from them and kind of just lead it into the surrounding rocks so that it doesn't look too sandwiches, because this light will still hit these rocks, but maybe not as a strong way. This brush I'm using is, God, I don't know what that kanji is, can't tell you what it is. Something watercolor brush. Is from Clip Studio Paints, the program I'm using. I really like it because if you can see that it does this like sort of textured effect, and the way that I use it, at least, I like it because it's good for blending. It can make really strong, really light effects just depending on pressure, and then when you go back over things, it kind of blends it in a little. So I like to use it for blending other colors a lot, just because it lets you put a hint of the color and just kind of blend it in based on your pressure, and the texture effect I think works really well, especially for like these rocks I'm doing. They've got a little bit of texture to them. I'm also not super great at understanding how lighting works either, so take everything I do basically with a grain of salt, as I have figured out everything that I do purely through just kind of playing around or like watching other people's speed paints and kind of just intuiting what they're doing and why I like it. But I think that, yeah, just adding a little bit of this lighting to the surrounding areas really adds a little bit more depth to the picture. And this is, I think this looks really good. Like what you already have with this person is very good. I'm just thinking, touching up the background a little bit to place them in the environment. Looks nice. I'm gonna show you a trick I use, and once again, this was a style preference. You don't have to use it. It's just a thing I'll do, where I'll take a hard edge thing, just this G pen, and I'll take the skin sort of yellow highlight, so this kind of whitish yellow, and just add very hard highlights to sections that are hit by light. And I think that something that I'm trying to use more and trying to get over also is just like, well, I have like a fear of like really intense contrast, but I think it's worked really well in a lot of pictures, so I'm trying to use that more. So this is just a very intense, like very intense lighting. And then after that, I will make a new layer and use add glow, choose a warm color for this because it's in warm colors, and then just use this airbrush tool across just the edges of the lines I've created. And I think it just really creates this very intense, very contrast inducing lighting effect. And it's not, obviously, once again, it's a style preference. You don't have to use it. I don't think it necessarily takes away or adds to the picture in a way that a softer lighting wouldn't already do. But it's just one of the techniques I use, and people might be curious about how I do that, so that's how I do that. Alright. So I think that's all I can really say for this picture. Again, I think it's really well done. I love, love, love the position you've chosen for your character. They look very cute, look very natural. I love the foreground and background elements you put in. I think that just making the rocks a little more irregular and adding hints of the lighting around them will help bring it together. But that's all I got. So thanks again for letting me do this and trying this out. I think that something I'm going to do in the future is maybe ask for, if people want critique, to tell me if they have a specific thing they want me to look at, because I don't know, just looking at pictures I feel like maybe I try to fix things that don't need to be fixed, or I think too hard about things. So I don't know, something I like to play around with. I think this has been fun though. I hope people enjoyed it. In the future, I think I'll try to do this, and what's going to happen is that if you're a $5 or more patron, you're going to be able to send me a piece, only one per person. I might have a limit of even just the total amounts in the end, though I don't really know what that would be, because I don't know how long these would take me if I did a lot and was just on my schedule. Regardless, it would be a $5 patron thing. You would send me a piece, full size, JPEG, and once a month I would do one of these videos where I'll talk you through what kind of changes I make, critiques, and then show you how I handle it. We'll see how it works, though. I think that it's been an interesting experiment. Thank you again to Alora and Twiglight for sending me pictures and allowing me to try this out. Alright, well, this has been, well, oh my god, what did I do? Okay, never mind, whatever. This has been your inarticulate pineapple signing off. Goodbye!